right, we are going to hop along into another buddy seat ride along. And so for this one, we have my teammate, Lacey Seibert, our Director of Sales Enablement at Bushel, and Tom Parchert, the merchandising manager at one of our customers, Big River Resources. They're going to come out and talk about the ride along in the grain originator seat. And as much as I talked earlier about Kelly, you would be hard-pressed to find someone that's more passionate about talking to farmers and helping them with their operations. Lacey is that same paradigm on the grain origination side and the grain buying side. You will not find someone more passionate about helping our customers find ways to grow their origination and improve the efficiencies there. So with that, I'll welcome out Lacey and Tom.
Thank you guys so much. We're very excited, and as Camille said, grain origination is my favorite thing to talk about. So I'm excited to visit with Tom about that today. So Tom, maybe let's start by you introducing yourself and telling them a little bit about what you do at Big River.
Thank you. So my name's Tom Parchert, and I'm the merchandising manager for Big River Resources, over in charge of trading the grain position for our country elevators. And we have 3 main facilities on the Illinois side of the river, and handle about 15 million bushel a year through those houses, and then another 10 just direct stuff. A lot of that goes to our plants, but not all of it, and our corn does, but the soybeans are a commodity we trade because we have to, and it's just the way it is. When the customer brings you his corn, you about got to take the beans too. So that's kind of the world we're in.
Sure. Yeah, corn is king, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So today we're going to talk about some of the things we're seeing with our customers in terms of origination. We are seeing some really exciting things about origination growth. So if we look at Bushel customers and the trajectory that they were on for origination before they were a Bushel customer, we can see that after becoming a Bushel customer, they've grown their origination on average by 13% in the first year, and then 30% after the second year. And so that's very exciting. It's meaningful. We've talked a lot about ROI today, and buying more volume is important because no matter what happens in the market, if we don't have the volume, we're not going to make any money.
Right. Absolutely, that nails it down. And as we talked last year, in our area, we were fortunate to have a record crop, biggest corn and bean crop we've ever raised, and we had record volumes. And now you're sitting here thinking, how am I going to grow on that? And as I look in our area, we had the driest April and the driest May on record. And okay, well, at the end of the day, we still owe our existence to 6 inches of topsoil and the fact that it rains. So that's where we're at. You can't control Mother Nature, so handle what you can control, and for us, those are relationships and being in the market and being at the table.
Sure. So I think you bring up a good point. What is that recipe for success that our customers are putting into play? What are those magic ingredients? And I think we can really bring it down to a few things. So one of the things I'll say, but beyond what's on the screen here, is we have customers who are embracing technology to make a difference in their business and for their farmers, and that's the first step. We've heard a lot about being innovative today and things that are coming down the pipeline, and so I think our customers embracing those things have helped them differentiate themselves. So you see up here offers, communication, and grower data. And so let's talk a little bit about how these things have really been the magic ingredients for you and the Big River team.
Sure, and I guess, Lacey, on that, I would piggyback onto the last group that were up here, and I heard them say some things about how they don't want to have that long phone call. They want to get things done, and we see that on the offer side The offers that are put into our system come at a time that fits the farmer. Not those conversations aren't that he wants to have as far as grain growing or grain marketing and stuff aren't always in our business hours. And chances are whoever their grain dealer is at home, they've got the personal cell phones, and I get calls on the weekends, hey, what do you think about this? Or you run into people at football games or basketball games, and you have those conversations off time. But that isn't the time that somebody's going to say, hey, I'll sell you 100,000 bushel at this price. That doesn't happen in a football game. But the timing of making it work in everybody's schedule, and that along with the world has changed. You know how many phone calls these guys are taking in a tractor, and the world's just changed. And Rod made a comment about years ago making 140 phone calls to try to find one guy that was paying attention pre-cell phones, and I can relate to that. When I first started in the business, very few people had cell phones, and if they did, they were a bag phone, and it cost so dang much to make a phone call. They weren't going to give you their number, so it's funny how that's all changed. And at that time, information was so key. Well, you know what? Today, we all have the same information. We've got it right away. So how do we manage through that? How do you serve the customer to give him what he wants? And at the end of the day, if you're in a trading range, everybody's got about the same bid. Yeah, there may be an outlier one day or another, but it's relationships and being able to service the customer with what information he needs. And the guy doesn't want to call me and find out what his contract balance is. He knows that information if he goes to the app. And most of the time when a customer calls me and wants to sell grain, it's a quick conversation, and he already knows the bid. He opened up the app. It's a 10-minute delay, and they may change a couple of pennies one way or another, but that decision's made. And from my seat, it's if he asks me a question, it's mainly if he's made up his mind. So from my seat, it is make him feel good about that decision. Yeah, you know what? The board's probably not going to go up another dime in the next week that you need money, kind of thing. Those are the kind of conversations we have.
Yeah, you bring up some really good points about when the farmer is ready to do it and when they make their decision. And so how can we meet them where they are? And one of the things we're seeing is that of the customers who have this mobile make offer turned on, they're getting 40% of their offers coming in that way. So it's not a matter of will they use it. They are using it. It's growing every month, the usage. So how do you guys see that impacting your business?
Well, from my seat, I've got all of our offers. I can put them I got them sorted on my screen by location where they're going. And, you can narrow them down to corn and beans, and you can sort them down to delivery period. And, so I've got, if we want to make a trade or, hey, we see an opportunity for an end user that is going to push some stuff, I know, I kind of got an idea of, hey, what I've got offered in front of me in that trade range. And, hey, if I want to go ahead and push my basis and nickel to book those bushels, I can do that. I can go manually book those things. And it's great to have that knowledge and what you've got in your back pocket from a trader standpoint. It's just good stuff.
Sure, you're positively reinforcing that they're putting that offer in, and so they're going to do it more frequently because it's being rewarded.
10-4.
Yeah.
And in the offer thing, we've preached that to guys for years, and it's really coming to fruition here recently. It's amazing how many offers we get that book overnight while we're sleeping, because the market does crazy stuff at night. And, we hit highs in times which you wouldn't expect to. And, so nothing's really out of the realm of possibility anymore.
Sure. So let's shift gears a little bit. How about communication with the farmer? So we've heard from the farmers themselves talking about how that has changed. How have you guys changed the way you communicate with farmers and use technology to do that?
Well, everybody can see your bids all the time, and guys can figure out how they want them. Do you want an email? Do you want a text? Or do you just want to look at them on the deal? And the Bushel app lets people it's not a one-size-fits-all. They can pick how they want to get that. As far as when I communicate stuff out to farmers en masse, I try not to do that very often, because the more you do that, the less they get paid attention to. So for me, when I'm sending out a mass, whether it's email, text, it's got to be something that's important, where it's, hey, it's the middle of harvest, it's 3:30 in the afternoon, and we just had a leg go down at some facility. We're closed. So if you're en route, go somewhere else, or, plan accordingly. And those are the kind of things that I like to use this tool to communicate to. Or, if we see something coming up in 2 weeks, hey, the facility's going to have work done this summer, they won't be able to take inbound grain. Be prepared for this kind of stuff, and invariably somebody will still show up, but,
Sure, yeah. How about the growers being enabled with their data? So how has that shifted the types of conversations that your team gets to have with them?
Well, our merchandisers and our traders have merchandising conversations, not accounting type conversations, and it lets us focus more on the relationships and serving the customer what he needs from us. Those are the things, and not every conversation is we still have the conversations where you talk to a guy for a half hour, you don't buy a darn thing, but you find out about his kids and you find out about the grandkids and everything else. And some customers like those conversations. Other guys, it's bada bing, bada boom. I'd just soon send you a text to buy grain. I mean, I buy as much grain off of text messages as I do off of live phone calls.
Sure, yeah, and I think that's the same reason that make offer in the app is working, because of the guy that wants to speed things up and not have to
Right.
have a conversation every time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of pat you guys on the back. I have to click it to make that show up. So, Big River is doing this right, you guys. When we look at their offers, they are getting 3 times more fills on the ones that are coming in from the farmer. And so can you talk about that, how the farmer using the app to put those offers in, why are they getting filled more, do you think?
Well, a couple reasons. One, I think those are more live, more accurate. So, producer goes in at night, checks markets after he's done whatever he's doing for the day, and says, hey, I'm going to put an offer in within 3 cents or 4 cents where the market's at right now, or maybe where it is at night. We come in the next morning and activate that offer, and bada bing, they fill, or they'll fill that day. The stuff that we're putting in into the system for guys are, sometimes they're those what ifs, and sometimes they're the, hey, this is where I want to start selling new crop corn, and it's 20 cents away. Well, it may not get there, it may get there. Those are a little, it's kind of a different way they come in. Those what if offers get put in after a phone call, usually not, hey, I'm putting this thing in because it's close, and I'm probably not going to have time tomorrow to call you when the market's open.
Right. One of the challenges with offers in the industry is having farmers double up on them because they forget that they put them in. How have you guys seen the tool kind of shift that for you, and the farmer having those offers there and being able to look at them?
The farmer can see the offers he's got in front of us, so he can go delete them just as fast as he can put them in, kind of thing. So I haven't had a lot of problem with guys, overbooking offers. That's one of them deals where you kind of got to know your customer too and have those conversations with them as well.
Sure. So I think that we've talked a fair amount about the make offer functionality. Today you've heard some things about Bushel Farm and how that's going to shift, and the farmer's going to have those contracts coming in. This is off script. He doesn't know I was going to ask him this question. I just thought of it. But how do you see that kind of shifting the origination game? The farmer having all of that data automatically coming in from an inputs perspective, and now they have the offset of that with how they're going to sell it. What does that do to origination?
Well, I think it can be good and bad. One of the things that when you had that up there earlier and it showed like $140 an acre you're making. We're heading to a time where, your first sale may be below the cost of production. And, I don't know how that changes farm marketing. We've got every customer is different, and we've got guys that it seems like they're emotionally attached to bushels. I mean, they just about soon give up their firstborn as sell the last 5,000 bushel of corn. So that's going to be different when you've got that in front of you that says, okay, I'm locking in a loss. And, if you've sat in my seat long enough as a grain trader, believe it or not, we don't make money on every trade we do. And sometimes a good trade is, taking a loss early and getting out of a position. So it'll be interesting to see how, that's the thing that kind of hit me on that screen that we looked at earlier was, wow, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think there's great power in it.
Right.
And some great things can come of it, but we've got some things to work through, right?
Well, yeah, you kind of get going with your eyes wide open.
Yep. Well, thank you so much. Whoops, I went too far. Thank you so much, Tom. We really appreciate your insights. And today, you guys have seen this a couple of times, but we would love for you to share your feedback about what Tom shared today. And please grab either of us if you want to talk more about origination through the rest of the conference.